they call the US the most powerful nation on Earth. But what if its greatest strength lies in 10 fragile partnerships? What if the backbone of American influence, security, and prosperity depends on countries that could walk away tomorrow? Some control the tech in your pocket. Others prop up our military, feed our economy, or manage our enemies. From silent alliances to economic lifelines, these nations hold the keys to America's global standing. If any of them pull the plug, the consequences could be devastating. Let's break down the 10 countries the United States simply cannot afford to lose. Number 10, Vietnam. It's a country many still associate with the past, but Vietnam is playing a very modern game. Once a war zone, today it's one of the fastest growing tech hubs in Asia. Major US companies, think Apple, Intel, and Nike, have moved manufacturing here, reducing dependence on China. But that's not all. Vietnam's coastline is vital to trade routes that power the global economy. If tensions rise in the South China Sea, and Vietnam chooses neutrality, or worse, sides with rivals, the impact on shipping, supply chains, and regional stability could be massive. The US sees Vietnam as a strategic partner, but this is a relationship built on balance. Tip the scales, and the results could ripple across industries. Number 9, Turkey. Straddling Europe and Asia, Turkey is more than just a bridge between continents, it's a geopolitical pivot point. It hosts key NATO assets, including US nuclear weapons at Incirlik Air Base. Lose Turkey, and America's military footprint in the Middle East and Eastern Europe becomes compromised. But that's just the beginning. Turkey controls the Bosporus Strait, a choke point for oil and grain flowing from Eastern Europe to global markets. They also influence Muslim-majority nations through cultural and religious ties. And while the US and Turkey are allies on paper, Ankara often charts its own path, sometimes siding with Russia or blocking NATO decisions. If this balancing act falls apart, Washington could find itself isolated on multiple fronts. Number 8, Brazil. Think the Amazon is just about trees? Think again. Brazil is the world's breadbasket, a rare earth goldmine, and a future energy titan. It supplies massive amounts of soy, meat, coffee, and iron to global markets, including the US. But that's not all. Brazil is the leader of South America, and its political leanings shape regional diplomacy. As climate becomes a key global issue, Brazil's decisions on deforestation and energy policy can directly influence American environmental and trade agendas. And with growing ties to China and Russia, any pivot away from the US could be costly, not just environmentally, but strategically. Brazil's cooperation isn't guaranteed. If they shift their alliances, America loses a vital partner in the Western Hemisphere. Number 7, Israel. Small country, outsized impact. Israel is America's closest partner in the Middle East for a reason. It's a hub of tech innovation, cyber defense, and intelligence gathering. U.S. companies rely heavily on Israeli startups and R&D centers, especially in AI and defense tech. But the relationship goes deeper: shared military strategies, missile defense systems like Iron Dome, and a powerful diplomatic alliance that shapes UN votes and regional dynamics. Lose Israel's trust, and America's foothold in one of the world's most volatile regions starts to erode. And with increasing global pressure on both nations' policies, maintaining this alliance isn't as automatic as it once was. Number 6, Nigeria. You might not expect it, but Africa's most populous country is quickly becoming indispensable. Nigeria is a powerhouse of oil, gas, and one of the world's fastest-growing consumer markets. Its booming youth population makes it a future tech and labor capital. The U.S. relies on Nigerian crude, minerals like lithium, and emerging digital infrastructure. But instability, from insurgencies to corruption, makes the relationship precarious. If Nigeria descends into deeper crisis or shifts toward authoritarian partnerships, the U.S. could lose a major influence point on the African continent and fall behind in the race for emerging markets. Number 5, France. France isn't just about wine and art. It's a nuclear power, a permanent UN Security Council member, and a critical military and intelligence partner. From the Sahel in Africa to Eastern Europe, France's cooperation enables the US to project power without doing all the heavy lifting. Paris also shapes EU foreign policy. If France drifts too far from US interests as it's threatened to on issues like China, defense autonomy, or tech regulation, America's influence in Europe could slip. And with France leading EU efforts in digital taxation and green policy, friction could cost the US both allies and money. Number 4, Australia. Down under, but front and center in global strategy. Australia's military alliance with the US underpins Indo-Pacific security. Its proximity to Southeast Asia and its growing submarine and naval capabilities make it a key player in countering China's influence. But Australia is more than military muscle. It's rich in rare earths, lithium, and other minerals essential for green tech and electronics. The US-Australia partnership also includes intelligence sharing under the Five Eyes Alliance. If that trust breaks, the US loses a key eye in the Pacific and access to critical resources for tomorrow's economy. Number 3, South Korea. A digital superpower hiding in plain sight. South Korea isn't just about K-pop and cars. It's the engine behind your phone's memory, your computer's chips, and your car's semiconductors. Lose access to South Korean tech, and entire American industries go dark. But there's more. The US has over 28,000 troops stationed there, guarding against one of the world's most unpredictable regimes, North Korea. And with rising tensions in Asia, South Korea's decisions matter more than ever. If it leans toward strategic autonomy or falters under internal pressures, the consequences stretch far beyond Seoul. Number 2, Canada. The friend who never makes a fuss, but whose absence would be catastrophic. Canada shares the world's longest border with the US, billions in daily trade, and the crucial NORAD defense system. It supplies lumber, oil, and vital minerals. But also water. Yes, Canada controls massive freshwater reserves, a resource becoming more valuable than oil. If relations sour, whether due to trade disputes, environmental conflicts, or shifts in leadership, the US would lose more than just a neighbor. It would lose a partner that helps keep North America stable, supplied, and secure. Number 1, Mexico. Right across the border lies America's most underappreciated lifeline. Mexico is deeply woven into the U.S. economy, from automotive manufacturing to agriculture to electronics. It's the largest supplier of both labor-intensive goods and low-cost components that power American supply chains. But it's not just economics. Mexico's cooperation is critical in managing migration, drug cartels, and terrorism threats. Political instability, cartel violence, or diplomatic breakdown could flood the U.S. with crises. As nearshoring replaces offshore production, Mexico's role will only grow. Lose that partnership and the US faces not just economic pain, but a national security nightmare. Power isn't just about missiles or money. It's about connection. The United States may lead, but without these 10 countries, it stands on a fragile foundation. Each partnership is a thread. Pull one too hard, or lose it, and the whole web starts to unravel. Think America stands alone at the top? Think again. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss insights that challenge what you think you know.